All right, so we're looking at our knife. I have the canvas turned on, right? Because that's the sort of the picture we're making this from. And the next part that we're going to do here, okay, there's our bodies and our canvas. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to drill some holes into our knife blade, and then we're going to duplicate it, cut it in two, and export it for printing. Okay, so the next thing we're going to take a look at is we need to be able to draw some holes in it, but you can't draw the holes directly onto the canvas or onto the object that we've done itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Create Sketch, and we're going to make the sketch in the same plane as we've made the knife blade here. And all I'm going to do is we're going to go to Circle, and we're going to call this a 2-point circle. And what we're going to do is we're going to click right here, put our first point on, and click here and put our second point on, like so. Now, one thing I will say is I'm just doing this from a picture, all right? So to be able to do this properly, you're going to need to measure the actual holes themselves, all right? So, I'm going through how to do this pretty quick, but if you don't like that circle because I want to make sure that my point is right here. So I'm going to escape out of that, and we're going to go back into the circle tool again. Now, what I was saying is that you want to make sure that you measure these so you get the holes correct. Otherwise, when you try and put the screws in, they might not fit, and we wouldn't want that to happen. All right. So we're going to stop sketch. And just for convenience here, I'm going to turn the canvas off and we're going to turn the bodies off. And now we have 3 holes in the exact position, or 3 circles in the exact position that we have holes for our knife blades. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the first circle. I'm going to hold down Shift and select the other 2 circles. And we're now going to go to Extrude, and we're going to extrude, I don't know, like 100 millimeters. Like so. And I get this warning saying that the shapes I'm creating aren't visible. Okay, the reason why is that I have my bodies turned off, and because when you extrude your sketch, the sketches turn into bodies, and if bodies are turned off, it doesn't look like you did anything. But believe me, they're there. Okay. Now for this, I'm actually going to keep the canvas turned off, so we don't need the picture of the knife. And now you'll see that we've drawn cylinders that go all the way through our knife. All right, so just to be on the safe side, what I'm going to do is look at this from the top, zoom out a touch, and I'm going to go and press M for move, and we're going to select 1 body, 2 bodies, and 3 bodies. For this, you don't have to hold Shift down. And I'm just going to move them in so that I can see them for sure coming out of both ends of the knife blade. Like so. We're going to press OK. Next, I'm going to go back up to the top view for a moment, like so, and we're now going to go to Modify and Combine. Next part, our target body, which is the thing we want to put holes into, is our knife blade, so we click it, and our tool bodies are going to be the 3 cylinders, like so. And we have no need to keep the tools here, so we're not going to click that box, and we definitely want to cut, so that's correct. If you're on join or intersect, we definitely want cut, and we're going to press OK. And there we have it. Okay, so now we've got the holes in our knife blade. It's now time to figure out how on earth we're going to cut this thing in half. And all I'm going to do is the real quick and dirty way of cutting this in half. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go back to M for move, and I'm going to select this whole knife blade, and I don't like that selection, so I'm going to select it again. I'm not sure what's going on here. I don't like that selection either, so let's see if we can't there we go. I'm not sure what happened there, but I want that to be a proper select. I'm going to move it so that the top, the hump of my knife right here is right on this line here. So I think I'm going to move that over 0.5 millimeter more. Okay, that's exactly centered. So that's perfect. Like so, and I'm going to press return. Okay, so now my knife blade is centered on this line here. I'm now going to press M for move again, and I'm going to select my body. Ooh, that didn't work out well. I'm going to select my body. There we go. I'm not sure what causes the axes to be crooked, but if they're not, if they come up and they're crooked and I can't move right to left in a straight line, don't worry about it. Just keep selecting until it happens. And now I'm going to click Create Copy, and I'm going to move this over until I get to about here. And that's centered on a line, but moved over by 30 millimeters. Okay, so now I've got two knife blades. All right, nice and simple. Next thing I'm going to do is create a box. Okay, and I'm going to create it in this plane, and I want my box to be taller than the knife blades, and I want it to go and be exactly 30 millimeters wide. So I'm going to create a box that goes from here all the way over to here. Okay, and I'm going to press enter like so. And I want the height to be really, really long. So automatically, instead of saying that this is 1 millimeter in height, I'm going to go with 200 millimeters. And it doesn't look like it did anything, but height in this, from this perspective, is just in and out of the page. All right, so I'm going to press OK. And now, just so that you get an idea of what we're looking at here, okay, I need a rectangle that is basically going to be longer than my knife blade, like that. It's going to be taller than our knife blade, but exactly the middle to middle width here, okay? And you're probably thinking, what on earth am I doing? The reason that I'm doing this, okay, is because I want to be able to take this box, move it down, and basically cut out this half of this knife blade and this half of this knife blade, and then I have two halves. Okay, it's kind of the quick and dirty version of doing what's called a planar cut. Okay, and we're going to do it like this because the planar cut is sometimes a little difficult to do and a little hard to explain. So I am going to go into now, let's see, I'm trying to get my view cube to work, so I want to be able to align my view here, and for some strange reason it doesn't always select itself very well. So I'm not even going to sketch here, and hopefully that popped it up. You know what? I don't even know why it does that. Let's see if I can select and just sort of trick that view cube into working. Doesn't look like it is. So I'm going to see if I can kind of figure out that problem. So I'm going to cut this video short, and we'll finish the cut and export it for 3D printing in a moment.